Good morning, everybody. Froggy Songs here. Nothing I say is financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Up a little earlier this morning. Lots of news. FOMC coming in. Rate hikes coming in. So let's get up on Twitter. Again, we'll go straight to the Gavin's page. Deserves credit for everything he's done. Gavin. And here's the stray cat that ran up to my house yesterday. This is all hail Lilith, the mother of sanctuary. How can he get out? Can't leave a stray outside, man. My melted heart. Oh, you're just gonna crawl all over the keyboard, aren't you? Okay, well, FOMC should be this morning. They're doing a rate hike live call. He will eventually just post the numbers that come out. I believe they're going to hike rates due to the inflation creep. So I'm kind of wondering about the SPY. I see a little bit of green pre-market, but if they are going to hike rates, potentially you could see a drop. I'm wondering if I'm going to play the SPY this morning or if I'm going to go all back in on Hawaiian Electric because there's news out for Hawaiian Electric. It's really interesting. Let me share the video. Post. Hawaiian Electric news came out and there was a small 5% price bump yesterday, which was really interesting when about 700,000 volume came in on the stock. It was 2:18 p.m. in Lahaina on August 8th when a crew of firefighters that had been monitoring what appeared to be a dead brush fire for about 7 hours decided to take a break. The team of 5 was one of several that had spent the day making sure the blaze that started early in the morning, a mile from the downtown waterfront, didn't reignite and spread. They flooded scorched grass with about 23,000 gallons of water and built a containment line. It appeared they had succeeded according to 2 firefighters who were on that scene that day. There was no smoke, no flames. It didn't spread for the few hours we were there, said Anna Kohler. One of the 2 firefighters said it didn't rekindle. With power lines down across the island and winds from nearby Hurricane Dora growing, the firefighters figured they would be deployed to more incidents that night, so no one objected when the captain of the last remaining crew on the scene ordered them to head to the nearby station for a late lunch. Now, am I saying it's their fault? No. It's a really bad series of unfortunate events. But high winds with dry weather, no matter how much water you put on an ember, if that ember's hot enough and there's enough evaporation within a certain amount of time, can reignite. And that's what it sounded like happened. So what we do have is now this article breaking from Wall Street Journal and other sources. HE starting to creep pre-market a little bit. Here's the 5% pop we had on the news. Now, I think this thing is going to continue to creep up a little bit into the September 28th congressional hearing, where the CEO of Hawaiian Electric is going to be testifying to Congress. And in my opinion, I believe, that she will present them with documentation on the power lines being de-energized. So, really important. I think instead of trying to play FOMC bingo on the SPY, which is more of a gambling situation, I think I'm just going to get back into Hawaiian Electric, which if I do get back in, I get back in a teensy bit higher than I was at before. Not a big deal for the end game because right now it looks like the market is pricing in pre-market a little bit on FOMC, but I am expecting if they do a rate hike that TMF is going to have a nice day. So I'm already positioned kind of for any rate hikes that are coming in. Because if they're going to continue to hike rates, in my opinion, you're going to have less lending, you're going to have less home sales, you're going to have less auto sales, which means banks are going to start taking hits in the profits, meaning that people will want to be careful about keeping large sums of money in these banks. So it's safer to go in and buy treasuries. Now, when people do that, it's going to put some pressure on the shorts. Treasury shorts, hedge funds have shorted U.S. treasuries to all-time highs. It's absolutely insane. Like, it's crazy what they're trying to do. I also got back into a little ARCC, even though I think it's a little higher than I would have liked to get in at. Um, it did drop off between yesterday and pre-market today, probably because I tweeted that I got back into it, but that's okay. Also because yesterday they issued their dividend. That's going to happen anytime they issue a dividend. The stock's going to drop a little bit into the next quarter beginning. Their dividends are great. This stock, I should have never got out of it. I was in at $10 to $15 ranges. It's run almost to $20, and they give around a 48 to 50 cent dividend every quarter on the quarter, and they have for years. Even through the worst parts of 2008 and 9, they still shot dividends out. If you don't know, ARCC is a kind of lending, kind of a debt lending program company. Basically, I don't want to say they're death spiral lending, but they create debt solutions for companies that are not struggling but just need to recapitalize and stuff like that. It's a pretty good company, but just looking at the chart, the growth and the dividend over the past 20 years, it's unbeatable. So I'm guessing into this new economy that we're coming into, depending on who's going to be the next president, and it's Eris Capital, by the way, if you didn't know. Depending on who's going to be the next president, it's going to be really tight. If Biden and the Democrats win the next presidency again, then you're looking at some serious economic downside because their policies just suck. Bottom line, their policies suck. And the conservative business owners are going to do everything they can to not help any type of economic development happen on the stock market side because a lot of the stock market is more conservative leaning, in my opinion. So, with Biden canceling oil leases in Alaska, fuel prices shooting through the roof, food going through the roof, everything going through the roof, people are going to look to lending solutions, which is going to be what you want to find with ARCC, meaning they could continue to grow. $21 is the price target for this stock, but it is on an absolute tear and it's never stopping. And I wish I could have got in here. I wish I would have known about it sooner during the pandemic hit. I never would have let it go. But it looks like the growth on this thing is going to be exponential for the next 5 years, in my opinion. Uh, it's a killer dividend play. So either way, I'm back in on that. I'm going to hold that long term. I'm going to continue to keep buying lots of dividend plays for the next 5 years. Every month, I'm going to buy a lot. Space creeping back up to $2. That's really good. Actually, who was it? Was it Motley Fool? One of the big outlets came out and said we're actually looking at a reversal on Space or Virgin Galactic starting a couple days ago, but really I think it kicked up today when we found a double bottom around here. This is really good. Space has $980 million on hand, 438 million some in debt, 1.1 billion in assets total, and they are actually flying commercial civilian customers into space, paying customers. Now the only thing they need to get from this is some movie action. Hollywood comes in and pays them millions of dollars to start taking shots from space for movie action sequences and or more NASA contracts or government contracts to go up in past the Kármán line. I think 6.5 miles above the Kármán line, and do studies or whatever they do, float around. I don't know. You can pay X amount of dollars to go into space now. It's pretty wild. So, Kitty, you need to calm down. Either way, as soon as 7 o'clock hits, I think I'm going to reposition into HE. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure the rate hike's going to affect HE too much because of the company structure, their business, and that it's a catalyst play. So that'll be a good thing. I'm actually thinking maybe calls. I think I'm just going to do some calls instead of buying a big lot of stock this time. It's still really low on the RSI on the daily. This thing needs to come back to 21 pretty soon, and I think it's going to happen. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice little call option out to October 20. We'll let the September 28th congressional hearing hit with the CEO, and we'll see what she says. Kitty, you're in the way again, Kitty. Can you move, please? Come on, get here. Psst, psst. We'll check some other news real quick while I'm preparing myself. Unusual whales breaking U.S. home sales are headed for the largest slowdown since 2011, according to Fannie Mae. That's exactly what I just said. It's going to happen is if they increase rates again, interest rates are going to go up. We're probably going to hit more than likely 10% home loan interest rates. It's going to be pretty wild. People are already getting buyer's remorse from buying homes now that they moved out of their apartment during the peak of inflation back when we were still in pandemic days. Rent is now coming back down, but people are locked into homes over $250,000 to $300,000 at 8%. They cannot afford it. You're going to see foreclosures on the market. Cool. Kind of curious what my page updated here. I wanted to retweet that. Interest rates for new auto loans now average 7.4%, the highest they've been in years. Actually, we better check on the regional banks again. MCB could be a good play today. This thing is primed up for a fall. I knew I should have reshorted this thing back at this peak here. I was looking at it because it gap filled and I was watching it close. I got too tied up in other plays like AMC, which was stupid. We could have already been a good 20, 30, 20% on this easily. It's gap filled. It bounced. It's trying to find support. Rate hikes are coming in, which means lending is going to tighten up, which means profits are going to fall off for some banks. Unless they decide to keep up this really, really crazy lending practice where these banks and these housing people are giving out loans to people who have no income, no job, no nothing. The ninja loan days are back, and it's crazy. Oh, I hate it when the emoji doesn't pop up when I type it in. I need to go get a Coke, though. I need more caffeine. I slept really good last night. It got nice and cold here. I actually had to turn my heater on for the first time. But man, I cooked some freaking fat, delicious steaks last night. Olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of Italian, and a good helping rosemary. Sear both sides, sear the ends. Get a nice little, not a char on it, but a nice little dark sear on it, and then throw it in the oven in a cast iron pan for 3 minutes, baby. Delicious. A drop of red wine to help relax the proteins. Super good. So I'm going to keep building my dividend play with Aris Capital. I'm going to try to make some big swings here coming up, maybe either on HE or the bank stocks. Space, long-term hold. TMF, long-term hold. Treasury shorted to all-time high. When the banks start collapsing, guess what people are going to want to do? They're going to want to move their money from banks into something more stable like treasuries, meaning shorts that are shorting U.S. treasuries and bonds are going to be in trouble. So it looks like we're all set up. I'm not moving off my thesis this time. I've noticed myself, I've had a slight lapse in holding true to my plan due to flashy objects in the background. So let's see. Kohler, who was on that cruise, said she had barely polished off a pork lau lau, a steamed packet of meat wrapped in leaves, when the alarms rang at 2:54 p.m. Less than 40 minutes after they left, a fire was burning at site again. So the Maui firefighters responded to a fire, put it out, maintained it out, created a perimeter, left for lunch, and when they were at lunch, the fire started back up and burned the town of Lahaina down. I believe that absolutely 100% clears Hawaiian Electric of responsibility for the Lahaina fire. I'm not saying that the fire didn't start originally due to Hawaiian Electric power lines, But if it was called in, responded to, the lines were de-energized, and it was negligence on the fire department, which honestly, it sounds like it's hard to blame them with the situations that everything that happened. It's just a massively bad series of unfortunate events. Easy. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back, Spence. Zillow is burying folks with these ninja loans. They're targeting immigrants circa 2000s. Yes, they are. Hey, I'm stealing that comment, bro. I'm gonna snip it. Zillow is going to, in the movie Margin Call, and he says there's 3 ways to win in this business, or 2 ways to win. I think he says. He's like, cheat or be first, and I don't cheat. Zillow is first people out the door. Why can I never find you on here? Why did it come up that time? There you are. Zillow is first out escape hatch and is trying to take all the lifeboats. Targeting immigrants with first time loans. This time it'll happen faster. I'm guessing by Christmas, banks are going to be in deep doo-doo. But this time, what's happening is they're giving it a slow roll. Jamie Dimon came out and pimped the market and pumped the bank stocks because we were winning. I was in on MCB at 30 bucks. It fell to 15 in a day. My put options were wildly in the money. It got halted. It was getting ready to be closed down, just like FRC. Jamie Dimon came out, said that there was going to be a short ban, which is bullcrap. The SEC came out and said we're not even thinking about it. But he did the damage. The stocks reversed in the banking industry. They got pumped. Now they are falling off again. I do believe it may be time for me to retake a position in MCB. I'm going to take a small long-term put position in MCB. I'm going to stick with my TMF position, but I'm going to buy back into some HE here any minute now. Let me pull Fidelity up. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling everything coming. I feel it coming. I'm out of notes. All right. MCB, long-term puts, leaps, not leaps, but HE back into play with stock because the potential for dividend distribution coming back into play is big. I'm going to stay away from calls on HE just in case the congressional hearing doesn't go the way I want it. I think I'm good with Space. Space is one where you can buy a couple $1,000s worth of shares and forget about it. The only thing you got to do with Space is watch the launches. If they have a bad launch, dump it. I mean, if they have a launch where there's an incident, dump it immediately. But Space has been shorted like crazy from its all-time high, 60 bucks. So TMF again, pretty heavy in that play. I'm going to hold that position, maintain it where it's at right now. I would need TMF to break below 558 because right now we've secured a double bottom with gaps to the upside, which is really good. I would need it to fall below here though, because this is pretty much my position is 570. So I really don't want to load more shares unless I can average down. ARCC got a decent little position. I'm just going to long-term hold it. If ARCC falls off over the years, let's say this. I'm going to hold ARCC. If it keeps going up, I'm making money and I'm making dividends. And I'll keep just kind of chipping away at it until the next crash. The next crash, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load heavy into ARCC. If we get a big crash from here at its all-time high and it just plummets back, let's say to even this line here, 13 something, or we come back down to these pandemic lines, which is potentially possible, I'm going to load the boat because over time, this thing will be huge. I won't be able to make any big plays in the time being on the volatility stocks, but I would rather secure long-term profits. And I should have never left the play. I had $60,000 at ARC at like 15 bucks. I could have been making 8 grand a year just letting it sit there. It was kind of a dumb part on my move, but we'll get back into it. We're going to start building. I'm still going to do some volatility plays, but I'm going to build a big portfolio. 3 ways. You had it right the first time. Be smarter, cheat, or be first. That's it. That's it. What's your thought on XRP? I think what Eleanor Tourette said was that the SEC has like a week to respond in the court cases that are going on. Me personally, I'm not buying any crypto. Maybe I get back into a little bit of Doge, just because I think Musk is going to use it for Twitter. But honestly, I think crypto is getting ready to probably have big issues. This new kitten I got is a terror. I named her Lilith. What are you doing, Lilith? You being good kitty? Huh? Are you? Yeah. Totally random cat comes up to my door yesterday. Okay, 901. Let's do it. Let's get in our positions. Trade first. I'm going to go ahead and get some HE stock. I'm going to have to wait to get my MCB puts when the market opens. HE extended hours. I'm going to go ahead and really load up on this. Not as much as I had before, but I feel more comfortable in the position and I haven't really taken a big hit. All right, preview by boom, preview. Oh, damn, fractional shares. You're not making this easy, kitty. There we go. More respectable, more responsible position than I had previously, but we have better news. I'm surprised it didn't rocket on the good news. I really am. Well, not good news, but it's news showing that basically Hawaiian Electric, the cause of the fire may have started from the power lines, but I mean, if a power line falls because of 85-mile-an-hour winds and it's immediately responded to, I mean, that's it. I mean, they did the right thing. The procedures were in place. The fire department went out, and when they left the scene of a fire during a drought and high winds, I mean, people got to eat and stuff. But if they were there for 7 hours, then they must have suspected that something really bad was going on. Like they were really worried about it. Like I said, I'm not trying to blame them. I mean, the circumstances of what happened in Maui was crazy, but there are a lot of people suing the federal government. They're not the federal government. There's a lot of people suing the Maui government, man. And the Maui government coming out immediately and suing Hawaiian Electric with no investigation and no evidence was almost like admittance of guilt. Plus, the mayor recused himself from the lawsuit. And, 20,000 islanders own stock in Hawaiian Electric. They basically own the company. I've been freeing up cash, hoping the real estate market takes a dip. My wife and me looked at a 20 acres near Tallahassee last week, off the grid living. How are land prices looking in Mexico? Property prices here are starting to drop. In my area, a bunch of places are going up for sale because renters are now panicking. Rental owners here in my neighborhood, they bought these big houses thinking everybody was going to come and rent. Well, apartments are getting cheaper. Now the renters are leaving the houses. So all these houses next to me are going up for sale. They're going to go up for sale probably right around where I bought mine, but people are going to have to get 10% interest rates, which means housing prices are going to have to fall off, and they are. 20 to $30,000 discounts on the asking prices right now, which is probably back to more of a normalized price range. People down the road bought their house for like 50 something thousand more than I paid for mine within a month. So now that's coming back down 20, 30 grand. People are starting to look, but you're getting a lot of Californians, you're getting a lot of Floridians, a lot of people moving to New Mexico that have a little bit more spending power than some of the locals here. In this place, the industry is booming in this place. This place is going to be huge, especially the Albuquerque West Side is going to be massive in the next 5 years. They are building stuff nonstop out here. So local and regional economies are going to do good. Um, Inner cities are toast. Inner city America is done. It's impossible to maintain the infrastructure in an inner city when the entire population is on government dependency. People forget that New York is bigger than Rome itself. Inner city New York. So when people talking about Rome falling, we have like 7 or 8 Romes. What's another kind of mid-sized city that people know? Round Rock, Texas. So Albuquerque is a city that is spread out over a long, long plot of land. These inner cities like New York, Chicago, and stuff, they're consolidated, condensed, and they're overflowed with infrastructure that cannot be maintained because the entire population of these inner cities is now so overgrown with immigrants coming in, being coming at the border, being dropped off in these inner cities. They're on government dependency. Plus the new generation of Americans who are not working and producing any product. They're always online. They're always making internet content. That mega structure inner cities are crumbling. Smaller cities like Huntsville, Round Rock, and Albuquerque are going to continue to grow and spread, not up, but out, because you can maintain that easier. Because when you grow out, you're not, I mean, New York is literally built on a, they have an entire underground system and they're off of the pier. I mean, New York, some of the parts of New York were literally made by dumping trash and dirt and debris out into the ocean to make it a bigger piece of island or a bigger piece of land. So it's just not maintainable. Those cities were built so long ago. And you see what's going on in the inner cities, and it's not good. Large 1920 era inner cities are decaying. There's probably a decay rate. There's probably a formula that you can use based on the amount of the age length of a city since the time of its inception and its growth rate. plus the political biases voted in each election, there's probably a decay rate for a city. So America, too many people think of America simply as like a Rome. We have 7 Romes in America or more. I mean, our inner cities are massive. Large 1920 era inner cities are decaying at a set rate. Infrastructure is too old. Too many government dependent citizens. And too many citizens being entertained instead of producing. Inner city New York is bigger than Rome itself. Rome falling. I'm not sure. America as a whole. America has like 20 Romes. We may have multiple Romes falling. It's an interesting thought. Nobody thinks about it. This is the act where they ensure whatever recession we have will last longer. By the time intermission comes, Carnegie Hall will be selling AMC wine for $60. Oh, God. Uh, that is hilarious. You guys should go like PJ's tweet, man. Because you guys know what's going on with the AMC branded wine. Basically, all that is another attempt by Adam Aaron to burn cash. Oh my God. The mayor of Chicago spoke about the government run grocery stores in the city the other pure madness. People are getting what they voted for, though. Yeah, they are. Inner city Chicago, and even my friend who was pretty leftist years ago hated Trump, argued with me all the time. He's now like, oh, he's like, I still don't want to vote for Trump, but I can't vote for these people anymore because inner city Chicago is literally falling apart. I mean, massively. I used to go there all the time, and I've seen the decay. But when you start getting government grocery stores because Walmarts and Targets and stuff are moving away because of theft, that is socialism. What's happening is you're getting pockets of America that are going to become socialist states, socialist cities. You don't have to have the entire country under a socialist process. But the problem is when inner cities like this, which control the majority of the vote for certain parts of a state, when inner cities with the higher population density become socialist and socialist run and government dependent, the rest of the country has to pay for it. Farmers have to pay for it. Engineers have to pay for it. Freaking rural America has to pay for it in the form of taxes. And when rural America decides they're done paying taxes, everybody in the inner cities will flee. They will flee the inner cities like rats from a sinking ship, and they will all run out into the wild, open wilds of America, and they will start living under a capitalist infrastructure again. Another win for HE. We're on good course. Victims go after the gov and private landowners now more than HE. Yep, absolutely. And the CEO of HE is doing really, really well being out front. Apple is planning to launch its own stock trading platform. Holy shit. This may be the downfall of the market makers. Market makers who have right. There's a major market setup coming in. If Twitter and Apple and these other platforms like this create their own trading platforms, to get people away from Webull and Robinhood, that is going to be huge, because if these platforms like Apple decide, okay, well, we can have a trading platform and make all this money by playing with payment for order flow, that may put some of the big hedge fund market maker peoples out of business, because they're going to dilute the market with all these trading platforms. It's going to be interesting. The market's setting up for a big change, and I think blockchain is going to be a part of it. All right, let's see here. 9:14, 9:30. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to look at MCB. I should have got in months ago. Man, I got so unfocused because of AMC, trying to help everybody out in AMC again. I knew MCB was going to be crap. I knew ARCC was going to be solid. I had my plan. I deferred from it. I messed up. I could have already got 4 quarters of dividends from ARCC, and my tax benefits. I would have had my capital gain 12 months under the belt. Plus, I would have already made these other plays. That's some really good morning stuff today, man. All my tweets, I feel really good about them. Maybe it's you, Lilith. Maybe you're being a good kitty. Got to get her into the vet and make sure she's been taken care of. Probably tomorrow. Yeah. Both my dogs are outside. I'm gonna bring them in real quick and feed them because they are feeling very lonely right now. So I will be right back. Keep them busy, Lilith. All right. Everybody's fed. Not a beer. Not yet. Ooh, comments. Another win for HE, but Apple too will be a market maker. Yep. Or sell IOUs. Yep. They might create trading apps before the downturn to make $1. I think Twitter is going to be doing the same thing. So, my big goal here, interest rates are getting near 20-year all-time highs. Almost 30-year all-time highs. We're seeing ninja loans go out from Zillow. 1% down payments or no down payments in some cases. We're seeing government dependency on a level like no other. We have currently, hey, absolutely not. Currently, we got a war between Ukraine and Iran. Massive natural disasters happening everywhere. Banks have already had a bad fallout from FTX, which most of them, MCB shouldn't even be in business right now, in my opinion. That should have went out of business with Signature Bank, with multiple other banks, FRC, Silvergate. Quit eating the cat's food. Oh my god. She is a beagle, that's for sure. You're a little chunker, you don't need no more. She can smell food from a mile away, and she's sneaky as hell. Bad lending practices. Save. And AMC wine. I feel like everything's finally coming to a head. And I think it's because of the current FOMC meeting coming up and the potential for them to say we're going to do another. They could come out and do a heavy rate hike today and shock the market. Everybody's betting another 25. Some people were coming in and saying they could even do 0.35 or like 0.65. Let's see. Let's get to Group Gavin's page. Toronto Dominion Bank has said 48% of its Canadian mortgages had an amortization period of more than 25 years. I've been putting a lot of extra money down on my house this entire year. Look, IDX drop in 10 minutes. I know. I was going to get back into IDX and I missed it. I completely forgot. When this thing, I sold my puts right before the big spike here. I think it was there. Let's see. There was a big pump on it. I ran it all the way down to here, made good money. It spiked. I was going to get back in around here. I forgot, and my money was locked up, and then boom, boom, boom. IDX is probably going to go out of business. So, no, I didn't sell too soon. My puts, the way they were structured right here, I sold this Friday. I think it was Friday. I made maximum profit, and then it spiked super hard the next day. If I would have held that, that would have ripped my puts way out of the money, and I probably would have just been back to even here again. So I should have bought back in is what I should have did. Or I should have exercised. I should have exercised like I was talking about and just held the short, but that's okay. We made money on it. You got to be careful too. IDX, stuff like that, those things can, somebody could come in and buy up IDX, or someone could come in, they could secure some lending, and that thing should shoot 30-40% to the upside. So you got to be careful. That's why I wanted to go exercise my puts and go short on the stock and hold it. If that happened, then at least I could hold it for a longer term period. Look at TMF already creeping up 1.43% in the pre-market morning. That is great. Space, another percent up. We're 204. We're getting in this gap fill range here. If we can get it, get support, grab it, get back over 210, the next gap fill will be, and one of the bigger outlets said it's in reversal. I think it was like market beat or something like that. I can't remember. But the next gap is 480, something like that. This is nothing but people shorting this thing down, man. I think someone was trying to put them out of business so they could buy up the tech and the IP really cheap. See, MCB. I had MCB in I was so close to making the win, the walk away from the market win, and just put hundreds of thousands into dividend plays and just do whatever the hell I wanted the rest of my life on MCB after SBNY and FRC. And Jamie Dimon coming out and pimping the market, man. It was like I was right there. I had it right there. And I should have sold. I got a little greedy. As soon as he said something, one of the guys I follow on Twitter said, I'm getting out of the play. It's rigged. Jamie Dimon's going to rig the market. And he did. And I still made a huge profit on it. I still made a ton of money. But I should have walked away. So MCB, though, I'm going to be careful because this thing could reverse and take another big upside. But they've already got commercial real estate loan issues, and they have crypto issues that we've talked about multiple times. They had a blowout. They had like an incredible earnings, but all the earnings are going to start cooling down on the banks pretty soon here when these interest rates get hiked again. If there's no rate hike today, this thing could rocket. If there is a rate hike, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to tell with FOMC what they're actually going to do. 5 minutes and the market's open, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a position on MCB, I believe. MCB has big problems with their crypto holdings that they've been trying to wind down. I think they still have like 250 million on their books. They were involved with multiple other institutions that were affected by FTX, Signature Bank, Silvergate, Fallout, and stuff, and such things like that. But their commercial real estate loans are probably the big issue. They've already had one major commercial real estate project fold on them in Kansas. But all these banks reported all these glorious profits these last couple quarters because they're giving out shit loans to people. And when they give out the loans, they get the initial fees, they get all that, they bring in all these profits, and then they get interest rates paid for the first 3 months, and then the loans default, and then they sell the loans off to other debt lenders and credit collectors, and we start the whole process of 2008 all over again, which means their earnings are going to take a crap. And let's see, is there any insider sales? Plus, MCB CEO took out a loan from the bank to buy the bank's own stock to pump it because it was dropping. He took a loan out from his bank he runs to buy the stock of the bank for himself. He had to return that loan. Let's see here. Bunch of buys back in March. But this is when the CEO bought like $2.5 million worth of stock, I believe. And Cohodes is going off about Arctic Mexico, man. Cabinet Bill 275,000 for a 3-day retreat on inflation records show expenses for Vancouver high at September 6 included 46,266 for catering and 8,850 for restaurants. Yeah. Our governments do not work for us. I don't know who thinks that anymore. The reason they don't is because we let them get away with murder and robbery in broad daylight. Two minutes. 2 minutes. And I have balances. I've got some cash. And I'm wondering, what are you guys playing? What are you guys into besides IDX? We know about IDX. When rate hike info in how many hours? I mean, possible hike or not. I think they're going to have to hike because inflation creeped. CPI was terrible. I think, is it 10? Well, let's look at the calendar. Let's see. FOMC 19th, 20th. The FOMC meeting's at 2, but I think they announce rates in the morning. All right. RSI 5 minutes middle MACD looks like it's going to drop. Daily is really low, but there was a big volume push. This could reverse if there's no hikes. It could tank if there is. I'm going to grab some puts. I think shorting's too risky in this type of market. Options, symbol, MCB. Do I really, man, it's already fell off so much though. Is it really going to break back down? I mean, right now there is no real support. There's no gaps to the downside, but there's not really any support that MCB is at. Space taking a little hit this morning. TMF looking good. Pretty big fall off. That was a big volume candle. 2 mil at the open. Hawaiian Electric looking decent. Just kind of sideways. We'll see. We are playing off of the news that just came out about the firefighters leaving the scene. If the CEO goes in and says, here's the evidence the lines were de-energized, Hawaiian Electric could spring back, but it could take some time. Hawaiian Electric could take time. But they did get $98 million in infrastructure upgrades too for free from the federal government. Metropolitan Bank estimated earnings per share 183 for the quarter. The funny thing is they had such good earnings and stuff coming out of nowhere after Jamie Dimon pimped the market, but the stock still fell off. This could come out where banks come out next quarter with really bad earnings because lending has fallen off for the past month and a half, and then boom, it goes straight back to 15 again because everybody panics because of all the bad debt that's been loaded up on the market. I'm doing October 20s. It's at 35 right now. I think the next level of resistance we could potentially see 33 and then 31. They're not priced too bad. $31 October 20 MCB. I'm gonna go for it. I just have a feeling, man, if they hike rates today, that means interest rates are going to go up. We're already at 8.5% on homes and 7.64% on yeah, short the Hawaiian government, pretty much. All right. So I'm in, man. I'm long HE again. I'm not going to tweet it though. I think DZZ's right, dude. Come on, stop it. God dang it, I'm not even pressing any buttons. What is happening here? Where is Hawaiian Electric? Oh, that's why. And you notice that the hearing is September 28th. There will be congressional insider trading on Hawaiian Electric September 28th. And then on the 29th, that Friday, you will see unusual options activity. I almost guarantee it. Like, it's just so predictable at this point. The problem with the options lately, too, a lot of the options, if you guys have noticed, have been getting ripped really easy, where your options contract value just falls off in a day. This zero DTE thing is just. It, Ken Griffin tried to say it was a problem for them, but really it's the market makers able to use zero DTE to keep options not gaining. Like, it'll gain 40% or something in a day and should keep going, and then they can just cut it really quick. Zero DTE on the options chain was set up so that market makers could start quashing retail. They've crushed the meme stock folks. The next step is to crush all the other retail investors who are in the day trading groups now, is where their focus is. They cannot have retail people making money in the market. And so you have MCB and everything sitting here now just chilling because everybody's awaiting rate hikes. HE creeping a little bit, just small little upturn from the other day when it fell off really hard. Maybe this was an algo move, I'm not sure, but starting to tick back up off on the news that we got. Maybe it recaptures this trend line that we were working with. This red line right here is the congressional hearing, which I may stream live. I don't know. Maybe this ticks back up and we recapture this trend line. And if we do, that would be glorious. but they're definitely making this the longer hold. They don't want this thing to run hard. They've crushed the options on HE 2 times in a row, specifically because they know how they want to play this, in my opinion. Let's see here. I'm gonna nail just a couple more shares at ARCC. No, that's not really much of a dip at all. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna buy any more ARCC until it's below 19. I'll load up a little there, and then the further down it goes, I'll continue to load at support levels over a long period of time. I'm gonna continuously keep buying this thing for years, man. It's gonna get to the point where I'm gonna start putting 500 a month into this thing for years. And then if TMF does what I think it's going to do, if this thing does a slow roll squeeze out, say whoever comes into office next, if it's Biden, it may not do much for a long time. If you get Trump or some other capitalist type Republican who's going to open up the economy to free market again, that's good. If you guys could too, please make sure you like the video. I appreciate it. Eventually, I'll get keyed up back on a topic, and maybe when HE starts running, you're going to see a lot of people come back to my feed because they'll want help and news. But you guys who have been here with me through AMC and are continuing to stay here with me now, I appreciate you greatly. We're going to key back up on some winners here soon. I think it's going to be HE. I'm pretty sure we've already got the winning plays set up. And it's just going to take a little time for them to happen. I think I got a little impatient the other day, but luckily I was able to get back in. Okay, TMF, space, HE, AirCC, and MCB puts. And Fidelity screwed me on my MCB puts. They gave me worst possible X. Okay, that's better. That's better. Jesus. Fidelity, I got to get out of Fidelity, man. Their options chain is just so jacked up. The prices don't match the account balance and the position. It's crazy. See any real important news coming in? Bunch of women came out and are now alleging Russell Brand sexually assaulted them, and YouTube has pretty much demonetized him off the platform, according to other sources, also I believe Instagram. My girl sent me a video of the new Mercedes-Benz hop mode. Helps you get your vehicle unstuck in like bad sand and mud and stuff, and then people are just driving around the city with it, their Mercedes bouncing all the time. It's funny. This watcher guru, all this person does is rip other people's news in the morning and then reposts it. Whatever, though. I guess it's fine. MCB's not even doing anything. It's still showing that it's in like pre-market. or something. I don't know what is going on here. It's not even showing that it's open for trading. It's showing that it's in extended hours. It's saying down here. It's not showing down on Webull. What's going on here? They don't want people to know what's going on with MCB? Ha! Ha! What? Maybe it's just not updated. Maybe they don't get data updated. TMF looking decent. ARC just doing whatever, down in the pre-market, but Space looking like it's setting up for another recovery set. HE creeping a little bit. Sideways, maybe some consolidation. I don't know. The market's moving really slow. All right. Who's that? FOMC. I kind of agree. I agree. CPI calculation methodology change. Oops. Was a tactic to shore up the banks. Banks have now been lending without any internal controls for half a year, locking citizens and immigrants of first-time homebuyers into lifelong debt. The earnings for banks in the next 3 quarters should be disgusting. But the risk they have taken on with the ninja loans is massive. Jamie Dimon's short man shenanigans was an attempt to boost the market short term so JPM could properly position and save their underwriting regional IPOs. Anybody can see that inflation is absolutely disgusting right now. Anybody can see it. Any normal person that's not living in an ivory tower out buying groceries, gas, and just trying to live their life is like, what in the hell? Why is there no data on MCB with Webull? What in the hell? This is going to be an interesting rate hike. Bar chart. MCB, MCB, MCB. Happening here. 3-minute MCB. I should create an account. Bar chart's pretty awesome. 2, and Gavin has us call at 1. Rate hikes should be at 2 p.m. I thought it was in the morning. So rate hikes at 2. Gavin's space calls at 1. So we're kind of just waiting now. HE being a catalyst play may do well because rate hikes actually, in my opinion, are good for energy companies. Energy companies raise their prices a little bit with inflation. TMF rate hikes are good for that. ARCC rate hikes are good for that. Space, catalyst, long term, anyways, small position. And MCB rate hikes could affect them because if there's higher interest rates, then their lending is going to tighten even further. They should have already tightened, but they didn't. They gave out ninja loans. Now they've taken on too much risk. And when all the banks decide they want to unload their risk at the same time because the market's going to collapse, you get 2008 all over again. So either way, guys, that's all I got for today. I'm not going to go much longer. Really appreciate the comments. Appreciate everybody coming in, hitting the like button. I'm going to try to get back into the routine, get more consistent with this again. Had some stuff this weekend. Had a friend over. Just kind of doing a reset, which I needed. I feel clear-minded, good, more confident, and more stern on the plays that I want to stick to. Overstock's back up 3% today, so that's good. But I'm going to watch MCB, figure out why the hell there's no data coming in on it. But if they come out and they say, hey, 0.25, or we're going to do 0.35 or 0.50, and they got to hike rates to get inflation down, and they do it hard, banks could take a hit, in my opinion, because lending will just collapse. And then everybody's going to they're going to want to unload the lending debt that they've just taken on with the bad ninja loans, and we're going to see a downturn in the market. But again, HE, TMF, and ARCC should be good for that situation too. And or not, they're not going to get hit hard by it. Either way, you guys have a great morning. Thanks for coming in. Please hit the like button. I'll see you guys back online. Maybe I'll come back on it too, just for rate hikes real quick, or I'll do a YouTube short. So just look out on my channel at 2. I'll post up a short, and we'll discuss the rate hikes together. So y'all take care. Froggy Stonks out.